we have here? Who do we have here talking to us about officiating at Nationals?
I'm Brooklyn Brothers. I go to Auburn University, but I'm from Dallas.
Auburn University. Hey, let's go. I almost said Roll Tide instead of War Eagle just then. That would have been my. And I'm not an Alabama fan, but I am here in Northeast Alabama. Oxford would probably be the closest place that you know to where I'm at. So I know about Region 2. Region 2 in the house. All right, and who else we got here?
And I'm Antonio Gilliam. I'm from Fayetteville State University, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, so we got Region 2 being repped right now. Yeah. I like that. Okay. All right, here we go. So I'm going to ask y'all a couple of questions. I know we had the officials clinic going on where all the officials got together, and I'm guessing this is like, so I'll tell you what, y'all tell me about the officials clinic. What was it like, and what all entails the officials clinic?
Yeah, it was, so the national tournament has a lot of like classroom opportunities to learn and focus on different areas. This year's theme is officiating with a purpose. And so far we've talked a lot about moving with a purpose and kind of like not just moving to move or doing things just to do them, but actually like having a purpose behind everything that we do, whether it's a flag we're throwing or moving down the line and waiting to get the best view, or if we're in correct positioning. So it's been a lot about just being intentional with our actions, but we get to like kind of conversationally walk through those things.
And what does those classroom settings look like? What is it like a speaker that comes up? Are they like breakout sessions where y'all get to interact with other officials because these are officials from all over? So how are those settings like? Tell me a little bit about those settings.
So there are official clinicians that come in. They go and show their PowerPoint, and in their PowerPoint, like Brooklyn said, all of them have had the theme of officiating with a purpose. So different clinicians will, group up, and then they will present their PowerPoint. And some of them are interactive. They'll like look into the crowd and say, "Oh, if you guys have this, how would you handle this?" And then some of them is more case play based. So they'll more like show us a play on the screen and then let us know like, "Hey, what do you guys have? And this is what the official call would be. And let me tell you what the referee called."
Okay, so with that being said, this is a nice segue into my next question for y'all. So how many, is this your first year at Nationals, or have you officiated at Nationals before?
This is my first year.
Same. Both of our first years.
Yeah.
Okay, so now have y'all officiated any games yet? I know we're in the afternoon, evening slate of games. So have y'all hit the field already?
Yes, we've had a couple games.
So tell me the difference between being at your site in Georgia and Auburn, at your site, and the difference being here at Nationals.
I think in Auburn, obviously Nationals is going to be like your top officials from each area. And so kind of everybody who's here is used to leading in their environment and teaching less experienced officials how to walk through plays, answering questions, working out of your primary coverage area to kind of make sure everything goes well. And here it's really cool because we can trust our other officials and know like they know what they're doing. And then we do have like minor discrepancies of like we do one thing one way at Auburn and one thing different at all the different universities. And so we have like a pregame where we kind of like get on the same page about all of those things so that we're kind of like working to the best of our ability together.
Yeah, and to build off of what Brooklyn said, there's a lot of officials here that are normally the best at their school. So everyone coming in, they're all, they have leadership mentalities and leadership personalities. So when you merge that into one crew, it's a lot of experience on one crew, and there's a lot of personalities that you have to adjust to and understand. And okay, I can trust this official because this official, they're the best at their school, they're experienced, they know what they're doing, and they're here for a reason. So it's more of just trusting you and the officials. That's funny.
Absolutely. When you're having an amazing interview, when you have another question, but y'all are already answering the question before I can even ask it. That's how you have amazing interviewees. So being that y'all have already answered that question, I'm going to throw another question out here that's kind of a little curveball. Now, you say you have the best officials from around NIRSA, from their different schools that show up for Nationals. So tell me this. what's the energy when you walk through the door? Because I know, look, I've been on the field before. I've worn the stripes. Okay, I've also coached, and every year we will have a coaching convention in Georgia, and we walk into that hotel, and I mean, it's like it's sticking there. Like, hey, you better know your stuff. You better be on your stuff. You better be looking good. So what are there? Is there any pressure to come in and represent your school well, or do all the other officials kind of make it a little easy for you to say, okay, let me look, I'm amongst other officials, let me relax, or do you feel that pressure of, no, I'm gonna step my game up here?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? So, of course, you have the pressure of representing your school well and showing them that you can be the best of the best and you can represent the best of the best. But at the same time, you are around a bunch of officials that are also the best of the best. So it's a lot easier, because you have someone to lean on. But it is a lot of pressure still because you are representing your school.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of what you make it too, because I think when I first got here, at least, like my stomach was almost not, because I was like, okay, I need to be on my best, performance, whatever. But also, like, you can trust that you've worked hard, and like having a crew, like we're currently on the same crew. They switch it halfway through and everything, but like we got to work together at a regional, and like we have a really good crew chemistry, and like our fist bumping each other, and that like kind of shaking off the nerves and working through today with like people who are there to support you and are going to encourage you throughout the games really helps with the nerves.
Yeah.
Listen, amazing interview. Thank y'all so much. Now, are y'all done for today and got to get back at it tomorrow, or are y'all on the slate for some games this evening?
We have one more game.
Okay, one more game. All right, well, look, we'll let y'all get to it. Let y'all get ready for that game. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out to join me and answer some questions, and kind of and one more thing before y'all leave, for those who didn't get a chance to come to nationals, or one day is their dream to officiate at nationals, give them a little bit of encouragement and some tips and even some ways to get to the place that y'all are at right now.
I would say just never acting like you know everything is the best way to learn and grow. I think there's sometimes pressure to like, I have to know everything and not ask for help. And I think the biggest way I've learned is just admitting I don't know everything and looking up to the people who I know more than I do and asking questions. Because ultimately, like the work you put in is going to get rewarded. It just takes time.
Yeah, and this is my first year with NIRSA. So coming into it, I had no clue what to expect or what to do. When I officiate back at school, I learned that I'm a lot more lazy. I guess I would say I'm just a lot more lazy with everything I do. So coming out to NIRSA and seeing how it's run, my first regional, I wasn't too good, but I did better towards the end, being around officials who've been doing it for a while. And honestly, people who, didn't make nationals but would love to make nationals next year, I would just tell them to like lean on those other officials, those more experienced officials, and just talk to them. Just talk to everybody. I talk to the technicians. I talk to the clinicians, the committees, all the committees. I just talk to them, get to know them, and ask questions. And that honestly makes your experience better, and you get to learn more. So that's what the advice I give.
Absolutely amazing. Thank y'all so much. Good luck out there. Hopefully y'all got tough skin, because I know.
Right.
I know as you get into tomorrow, things get a little bit more competitive. So hey, tough skin out there, and good luck, man. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Okay, so I just got finished talking to two amazing officials. So tell me a little bit about your experience with them. There's a reason why you probably chose those two to come and talk to the NIRSA network. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn and Antonio, they really represent what officiating and the connections are about here at the national tournament. Just their energy, their drive. Brooklyn she smiles all the time. And I think just to have that presence on the field as a part of the crew, I know they were working together the past couple of games that they've had. So it's really cool just to have that energy and see those things. And it really reminds me of when I refereed my national tournaments, a number of years ago. I won't say how long ago that was, but just remembering those memories. And so for them to connect like that and to have the opportunity to come and talk with y'all and talk with the NIRSA family here, I think, it really was an easy choice, and it makes all the sense for them to come over and do that.
Great. What's going on, NIRSA Network? Is Lamont Mayer Jr., and I am here a very, very special, not guest because he's a part of the NIRSA Network, but I have Britton, Lyon. He is there at Nationals in Houston, Rice University. It is the first day of Nationals. Y'all got jumped off today. We are in the afternoon, evening slate of games. So first off, Britt, before you introduce yourself and tell me what it's like right now. First day, I don't know if it's been chaotic or how these tournaments start, but first day of Nationals, games have already started. Some have already conceded. Tell us a little bit about what's going on down there right now.
Yeah, I think just for me, once the games get going, that's a little bit of weight off of my shoulders in my leadership role. So it's really cool to see the games happening. We had some really good weather today, and I know that that's not often the case for a national tournament in this time frame. So really happy there. The sun was behind some fog pretty much all morning, which really made it
Nice.
Reasonable. It's a little toasty now, I will admit, but we have some really good energy with the teams. The committee members are on, doing their part, and you'll see here in a little bit, we got some really energized officials too that have just rocking and rolling right now.
Nice. Now, you wear a couple of hats when it comes to this national tournament. I believe you're the assistant director of Nationals, as well as you are the director of officials.
Yes.
Okay. So it's your job to make sure these officials don't get cussed out too bad out there.
That is true. Yes. And if it happens, then I'm the one that gets to go and talk with the players and backpedal them up a little bit.
All right. So tell us a little bit about those two hats. You said once the tournament gets started, then your leadership role kind of decreases and you get a chance to actually enjoy the tournament, unless you have some rowdy people that you gotta connect with. So tell us a little bit about what it's like with you leading up to the tournament, preparing for the tournament. Once you got there on the whole site, we'll talk a little bit later about the whole site. So take us a little bit through your role with the tournament.
Yeah, so a lot of what I do is up front leading up to getting here today. There is some things that I'm going to do that I'll talk about here in a minute here at the tournament, but the two hats that I wore, just as you mentioned, is the assistant tournament director. That's part of being the vice chair for the flag football work team. But then I'm also the director of officials in my third year within that leadership role. So I am wearing two hats, and the two hats work together, but they're a little bit different. So that assistant tournament director is dealing with everything. So we're talking about getting team recruitment, making sure registration is going well for that thing, the marketing for that, along with coordinating with Rice University, our host here in Texas, along with all of the different committees and having those touch points. So in that sense, I gotta see and be a part of pretty much all aspects of tournament planning leading up to the tournament. And then specifically as the director of officials, helping the coordination of our committee, the selection of our committee, the selection of the officials for the tournament, and then all the planning that goes into our officials clinic, meeting with the committee months in advance for the planning of presentations, timelines, all of those things. So really in my role, a lot of the stuff is done before we even set foot in Texas.
Now, what site are you on? Is it Georgia Southern? What site are you working at?
Yeah, so we are physically at Rice University.
What site do you work at?
Yes. I am at Georgia Southern University. Yes, as the assistant.
Now, are you able to give them? That's a lot that you're doing, Britton, for the NIRSA tournament. How the heck are you balancing the roles of the site that you're working 9 to 5 for and what you're doing? Because this is y'all, let me make this clear. Everything that he just ran down is on a volunteer basis. Britton, hats off to you for all these things that you are doing for NIRSA and to make this Nationals tournament a great one. But what is it like? Yes. So tell me, before we get back to the tournament, tell me what it's like, because somebody else is going to be in your role years down the road. Tell me what it's like balancing the two, your everyday responsibilities on your site and all this amazing work that you're doing with the NIRSA tournament.
It takes a lot of intentionality. I will admittedly say that my fall semesters are the most chaotic of the entire academic year, school year, life year in general. I have my own officiating pursuits that I'm at every weekend as well. So when you throw in, the hats I'm wearing now, my 9 to 5, along with what I'm trying to do as an official, I guess the honest answer is I don't really have a life in the fall, but I think the rewards and the benefits that I see for me personally, both as an official but also in my professional aspect, is why I do what I do. I know that there are days and weeks that I'm going to go to work and it's like, yeah, I got the nursing meetings, I got the committee meetings, I have my own meetings for my job. It's a lot, but when I see the fruits of my labor, I see, stepping foot here and just seeing those fruits of my labor, I see, stepping foot here and just seeing those things happen. That's when I remember why I do this. And so I don't see those things right away, which is sometimes the tough part. I have to wait a little bit to see the fruits of the labor. But when I do, it's like, okay, yeah, this is why I do that. And it really just reminds me of also the experiences that I've had as an official in the past as well. So it's a lot, I will admit. Am I taking on more than I probably should? Yeah, I think that's an honest answer that I am. But I'm giving back to what I love. And I think just to do that and to see those things happen, that's kind of how I get through the fall semester and all the hats and all the responsibilities.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so with games on the way, with the first game here and gone, from a operations standpoint, what does it take for that first whistle to go smoothly? Like what's if and let's narrow this down, because I know there's a lot of things got.
I was going to say, how long do we have here to talk?
So if you could, and this is going to be tough, I know, but if you could pick one thing that is like, hey, other things we may have to pivot, other things we may have to shake and roll a little bit, but this is the one thing that we really need to go smoothly at first whistle, what would that one thing be?
Ooh, honestly, I think it's the operations team and our host here. As I said, a lot of the work that we do in all of the committees is up front leading up to the tournament, but it's the physical stuff. Are the fields ready? Is the food for the officials and the staff? Like, do we have all the adequate supplies for the teams? Coordinating with the Houston Texans, is their activations ready to go? It's the physical hands-on when everyone across the country is flying, traveling, driving to Houston. The physical part of making sure all that is aligned, you can't do that ahead of time. And so I cannot give enough credit to the team here at Rice University. I cannot give enough credit to our operations team that is making the physical things happen here. I can't imagine it. I'm seeing what's happening with it, and getting the 8:30 a.m. whistle started here this morning. Hats off to them, really, because all the communication, all the meetings, all the logistics. That's the important part, is making sure that we have everything ready for our teams that are traveling here, everything ready for our staff and officials, so that they are prepared to blow that 8:30 a.m. whistle and get the games going.
Great. So let's talk the whole site a little bit, okay? Rice University, hosting the Nationals. What has made this such a great fit with the site host?
Yeah, I think there's a couple aspects. One, I think, is getting back to the roots of being on campus. I know that's just a really cool thing to have those connections to an on-campus location, because that's really what all of our students and our officials, our athletes are a part of, is that on-campus environment. So there is a feeling of familiarity there that I think is really nice. I will say that Houston is a really cool place because a lot of stuff is really close. And so having the Texans access there, they're being out on the fields today, is really cool, and to have that access as well. And then the facilities here, and the ability to have the meeting space and the things that sometimes takes piecing together. It's all in one spot. Like, we're all in one location. We don't have to bus and do all those logistical craziness, that really is cool to have. And like I said, like, just being able to work with them over the past couple months is really awesome.
Okay, so for the officials who may be watching this and want to be a part of something like this in the future when it comes to NIRSA, look, this pipeline, I will say, of NIRSA has produced a lot of great leaders within the association. Our now sitting president said she got her start volunteering in the Champ Series. So for those officials who one day want to be a part of these national tournaments, what would be some of the advice that you would give them moving forward?
I think the simple one is get involved. That starts on campus, but even then, it's getting your name in the hat for the regional tournaments that they're going to be hosted across the country, because that's really kind of the first step to getting here to the national tournament. I would also say connecting to the folks that are in your region. If we have institutions that have students that are interested, it's reaching out to the flag football work team, or reaching out to the officials director group, and asking those questions of how we connect the students to the regionals, and ultimately to nationals. Because like you said, we have a really strong pipeline here that we're continuing to build and improve upon, to have that access for all of our officials that want to go to regionals and ultimately go to the national tournament.
Now, as we head deeper into the week, what are you excited to see unfold a little bit here?
I think the really cool thing that you see across the tournament is the growth and development while they're here. Our officials went through the officials clinic, where we kind of dropped a lot of information in their laps, a lot of higher level thinking when it comes to officiating, and to see them have the opportunity to apply that on the field, and then have the continual evaluation at the games, those little nuggets of feedback that they get right on the field and can apply right away. And then just to see, like, oh, wow, that worked. That was awesome. That's the cool part of seeing what we do from the first day on Wednesday to the championship games on Friday, is that progression, that development of them as an official, but also of them as people. There are a lot of skills as an official that might seem unique to just officiating that are not. We're going to have so many things that we can apply beyond this location, the communication, the problem solving. You're not going to find another on-campus job that deals with the conflict management that we see as officials. And so to connect that as well down the road, there's way more that they're going to take away from this than just officiating. And then the one thing I left with them from our clinic yesterday was, take advantage of the friendships and the networks that you have, because
always
there are friends that I have when I officiated that I still communicate with and talk with, that are my friends for life from these tournaments. And so to have those same connections that they can build with the clinicians, with each other, those are those tangibles that go beyond just blowing a whistle or throwing a flag.
Listen, look, and a lot of people are going to be watching BallerTV, who for the package of $39, you can have access to the whole tournament, BallerTV. A lot of people are going to be watching that and not even realize that there's a whole nother game going on down there. And you just explained that. I always call it's the game behind the game. There's always two games happening. And it's amazing when you can sit back while all of this competition is going on. While that is important, but to you, watching those officials and watching that growth, and watching how they collaborate with each other, and watching how they communicate, that's a whole nother game that everybody don't get a chance to experience. Listen, Britton, I'm going to go ahead and say this. And maybe this is the sports side of me that's talking, but Britton, I've done a lot of interviews. I've done a lot of them. Presidents. I've done one with our director of NIRSA. I've done a lot of interviews. Britton, this is by far my favorite interview that I have done since I've been at NIRSA. Yeah, it is. It is. And look, I thank you for taking some time out to come and talk to us. While being yep. While being down there on the host site at Rice University in Houston, Texas. Huge shout out to the Houston Texans and their involvement. I'll let you do that. Go ahead and give some shout outs to some people because if you miss some people, then it'll be on you and not.
Okay, that's fair. I see what you're doing there.
Let's go ahead and give some shout outs to some people that's making all of this great.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of volunteers behind the scenes. I mentioned, operations team a little bit, but we also have our tournament experience folks. We have our officials committee, obviously. We have our NIRSA HQ folks that are here on the scenes, making sure those things happen. There's a lot of people, a lot of volunteers, like you said, that are here to make this happen, that we couldn't do it without them. And so, we talked a lot about officiating and the player aspects, but that volunteer aspect of too, and those tangibles that us as professionals can get out of this are just as important and just as opportunistic for us to be a part of. So we could not do it without the volunteers. I've talked about Rice University, our hosts here. We could not do it without them as well. Yeah. We have the Texans involved. I know that they brought some legacy athletes down to our fields today, so that was really awesome. I think they brought down the cheerleaders as well. They're out supporting everyone, which is really
nice.
We got some swag that was given out from the Texans, so they've been a really cool partner as well over the past, today, I guess. And we got 2 more days down the road that we're going to be interacting with them too.
Absolutely amazing. Look, so you enjoy the rest of your time there at Nationals. I look forward to you getting on back, getting you some rest, because then you're right back into it for the spring semester on your site. Thank you so much, Britton, for giving us just a little bit of your time. This has been an enjoyable interaction, bringing on the 2 officials. Amazing job they have done, and hopefully this has sparked some of y'all just to go after it. Look, go after it. It's an amazing experience. I don't know if there's any other places that you can get this type of experience. You spoke to it a little bit earlier. There's very few places where you can get this type of experience that don't just help you on the field, but also help you in your everyday duties on your site. So Britton, hats off to you and the hats that you are wearing. Hats off to everybody who is involved in the Champ Series. And I will tell you this, NIRSA Champ Series is top notch right now. I have to give it to, they are top notch in presentation. The way y'all volunteers work for each other and with each other. If there was ever a great example of what NIRSA is all about, that Champ Series is it. So thank you so much for being a great.
I plug one thing for it.
Okay, go ahead. Let your applause fit. Okay,
I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't share that once we're done here with flag football, that's not the end for the NIRSA Champ Series. You said we turn around and go back to campus, and I'm going to take that break. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to catch my breath. But then we dive into NIRSA basketball.
Right around.
Things that we're doing now. We're going to switch sports. We're going to go inside where it's 72 degrees all the time. There's no rain. There's no heat. I'm not trying to be bag flag football, but there is some positives there with being inside. I'll admittedly say that. But the story will continue. So the same takeaways, the same transferables that we're dealing with right now at flag football, they're going to happen again with basketball. And we could not, again, do it without everyone that's involved. And so my shameless plug there is get involved with basketball just as those things start here over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely amazing. Britton, thank you so much. All right. And you enjoy the rest of your time in Houston, man. I'll tell you what, I wish I was there. I really do. So, hey, when these next things roll around, we're going to have to start putting it in the budget for me to get on the plane and the live host be boots on the ground live at the event. I've enjoyed this. I did. I enjoyed this, but it would be nothing like being live there with you.
For sure.
All right. You have a great remainder of your week, and thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Check things out.
No watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah.